Hi, my name is Paige. Welcome to my channel. So you are currently watching part 2 of my 3-part series where I cleaned off my bookshelf, hauled some books, and bought some new books. So in this video, I am unhauling some of my books because I didn't realize how many I had ready to be unhauled. I have a little shelf that I just throw books after I DNF them, or if I give them like 3 or less stars and I don't really want to hold on to them, I just kind of put them on the shelf. And when I was realizing that I really wanted to go a little free library hunting, I kind of pulled together all of those books and realized I had enough to go a little free library hunting, and I had some good ones that I wanted to sell to the bookstore, which you'll hear me mention in the next clip. But I just wanted to introduce this video, and I hope that you stick around to see what I haul in the next couple of days. It'll either be out tomorrow or the day after. But yeah, I hope you enjoy my unhaul, and I hope that you are not hurt by any of my choices of things that I chose to DNF and get rid of. Enjoy! So I don't know when I will be posting this video, so if I have already posted my bookshelf rearranging video, I will link that up here for you. If not, look out for that in the future. But I just have a couple of stacks of books right in front of me, of books that I'm going to unhaul by means of putting them in little free libraries or trying to sell them to a used bookstore near my house that gives you some store credit for some of their books that they want to buy off of you. So I'm going to go through and talk to you about which ones I'm definitely going to try and sell back and which ones I am going to give to a little free library, and that's going to be this video. If there are any books that you think I need to save, let me know ASAP. This probably will be out after I've already unhauled them, but still, you can try. Maybe I'll just repurchase them in the future. Who knows? But let's start off with this pile right here. So I DNF'd this at 33 pages. So this is going to definitely be one that I'm going to try and sell. I just didn't really like the writing style. I felt like it was very bleak, and I just didn't want to pick it up after I put it down the very first time. So that is why I DNF'd that, and I figured I don't need to hold on to it for much longer. Legendborn is another one I just recently DNF'd, and I only made it to about 50% before I realized that I'm just not going to continue on with it, so I'm going to try and sell this one too. These next two I did read and I enjoyed enough, but I don't think I'll ever reread them. So that is We Hunt the Flame and We Free the Stars by House of Faisal. I just don't see myself reading these in the future, and I think I only gave them both 3 stars, so I figured I didn't need them holding a spot on my shelf, especially when they are not matching. If they had both been paperback or both been hardcover, I probably would have kept them, but because they are mismatched, I figured I could pass them along. Daughter of the Moon Goddess is another one that I only wanted to hold on to because I think it is a beautiful cover, but again, I didn't give this book a very high rating, so I figured I don't need it to take up a good chunk of space on my shelves if I didn't love it. Self-Made Boys is one that I read. I enjoyed it enough, but I don't think I'll ever reread it, and I just didn't love it enough to want to hold on to it. And since it's pretty new, I figured that the bookstore might want to buy this one, so I'm going to try and see if they'll take it back and give me some credit for it. Gideon the Ninth. I am considering holding on to this one because I feel like it is a contender for one I want to give another chance. I did DNF this about 50-60% into it because I just didn't understand what was going on. So I might hold on to this one a little bit longer, but if I decide not to go ahead and reread it, I am just going to try and give this one to the bookstore because it is in still pretty good condition. Mexican Gothic by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I enjoyed this. I didn't love it, and it's just been sitting on my shelf for a while. I know I'm not going to reread this one, so I figured I will pass this along to the bookstore, see if they want it. If not, I will put it in a little free library. Okay, and these next ones are ones that I'm going to attempt to bring to the bookstore, but if they don't want them, then I definitely will be giving them to a little free library. These ones are just a little bit older and maybe not in the best condition, so I don't know if the bookstore will want to take them. But we have The Wolf and the Woodsman by Ava Reed. I also made it to 50% or so and just wasn't loving it, and the spine is a little bit cracked, so I don't know if the bookstore would take it, but it is fairly new and popular, so maybe they will. I don't know though. The Train to Impossible Places by P.G. Bell is a middle grade I read sometime last year, and I don't remember a single thing about it besides there being a train, and that is on the cover, so maybe that is the only reason I remember. So this is a newer middle grade that I think has potential for the bookstore to want, but also it's not widely known, so I don't know. We will see about that one. Thank You for Listening by Julia Whalen. This one is in good condition. I just don't think it's very popular. The only other person I know who has read it also didn't like it very much, so I don't know if the bookstore would even be interested because it's not the best book. It was very forgettable. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero is the next one, and this one's just older, so even though it is in a really good condition, I just don't think that they'll want it. So I might just put this in a little free library because somebody somewhere in a little free library might enjoy this and might want to read something like this. So this one will go little free library, I decided. Then we have Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. I was gonna hold on to this one. I've been holding on to it for a while because I enjoyed it enough. I just didn't really love the book overall. I thought it was okay, and I figured I don't need to hold on to a book that I just thought was okay, that I don't really think about very often. So I think I'm going to take this to the bookstore, see if they want it. It's also a little bit older now, so I don't know if people will be wanting to pick this one up as of late, so we will see. Then we have A Proposal They Can't Refuse by Natalie Kanya. This one I gave 2 stars, so I figured it does not need to be on my shelf. It's like a fake dating, friends to enemies to lovers sort of story, which seemed like it would have worked so well for me, but it did not. So unfortunately, I am not going to pass this one along. And again, this spine's a little bit cracked, so I don't think the bookstore will want it. The Rage of Dragons. I gave this a 2 star, maybe a 1 star. I just did not like this book. I read it last year. I've been holding on to it for I don't know what reason, and I thought the spine was cracked, but it is not. So this might be in good enough condition to give to the bookstore if they are interested in it, but it's again a little bit older now. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this one anymore, so who knows. Mother May I by Jocelyn Jackson. This one was okay. I didn't love it. It just wasn't memorable. I guess it, no, I take that back. It was a little bit memorable. There's like some creepy aspects to it, but I don't think I'll ever read it again. And the audiobook I remember being the worst thing I've ever listened to. Her voice just was not my favorite. So I just have like bad memories of that audiobook. So I'm just gonna pass this along. A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. This one was just alright. I, again, don't really remember much about it. I feel like I get this one and Neon Gods mixed up quite a lot. So I figured this one is just one to go into a little free library. Somebody will enjoy it, I'm sure. A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. I didn't like it. Did I read it? I think I read it all the way through and I didn't like it. I don't remember much about it. I just remember it not being that good. It's a Sherlock Holmes retelling that missed the mark quite a lot. Then we have Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I think I DNF'd this at like 25%. I just wasn't really feeling it, so I thought I might come back to this one, but since I have DNF'd it, I have not thought of it once, so I probably will not be coming back to this one at all. Then we have The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, and like Gideon the Ninth, I think I'm going to hold on to this one just a little bit longer because I still have the audiobook on Audible. I bought that with a credit, so I don't want to like fully give this one up because I don't want to waste that Audible credit. So I think I'm going to eventually give this one another chance with Gideon the Ninth, but if I try it a second time and I don't like it, it will eventually be unhauled. And all these next ones I bought used, so I really don't think that the bookstore will take it back because they were already marked as used. They have the little mark down at the bottom that signifies that they were used. So first up we have Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. We read this for the Story Continue book club, which is my book club, and I remember not loving it. We've had a lot of misses this year, I will say. Lots of misses this year for me personally. So I'm going to give this to a little free library or see if one of my family members wants to read this one, but it was just not my favorite. And then we have The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwaeke Emezi, and this one is another one I didn't love. I liked it enough to get through it, but I don't see myself ever rereading it, and I don't think I gave it more than a 3 star, so figured it doesn't need to take a spot on my shelf. Same with The Bookish Life of Nina Hill by Abby Waxman. It was a decent romance, but it also wasn't romance enough for me, so I don't see myself ever recommending this to many people, so I'm gonna pass this along. Louisona by Romina Garber. This one was decent. I remember enjoying it. There's pieces of it that I do think back on that I liked, but I just didn't love it. I don't want to continue on with the series. It was fine, but I think somebody else could enjoy it more. We also have Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. This one, people have told me to give it another go with the audiobook, so I think that that is something I am going to attempt along with Gideon the Ninth and The City We Became. So this one I will not give to a little free library yet, but if I don't like it the second time, again, I'll unhaul it then. The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I have had a up and down relationship with Patrick Ness. I think I've DNF'd 2 of his books. I gave one 1 star and I gave one 5-star. So I think this is another one that I'm going to read for like authors I'm giving another chance, or books I'm giving another chance, possibly in the vlog that I've already mentioned. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to give this one up yet. I just know that there's gotta be another Patrick Ness book besides A Monster Calls that I will enjoy. I hear so much about his books, so let me know if you have recommendations. I think the only one on my shelf that I also haven't read is The Knife of Never Letting Go, and it's just so big. It's so big. So give me like a medium-sized Patrick Ness book to recommend. Then we have Diana Quincy's Her Night with the Duke. This one I gave 2 stars. It was a fine historical romance. I just had some issues with the male, which I tend to do in most historical romances. So take my dislike with a grain of salt, because most heroes in historical romances just aren't it for me. They just don't do it for me, and they do it for a lot of people, just not me. Then we have Brandon Sanderson's The Weight of Kings, and I love this book. I gave this book 5 stars, but I already have it in an edition that I like better. I have it in the white covers from the UK, and so I got this one out of a Little Free Library once, and I figured that I can just put it right back in there. I didn't read it. The spine is pretty decent. It's just a little like scuffed around the edges and stuff, so just put this right back where I found it, in a Little Free Library. Then we have Moontouch by Elizabeth Briggs and Nightfall by Emily Goodwin. These are books that I just should have read on Kindle Unlimited all the way through. I think I would have continued this one through Kindle Unlimited, but I'm not going to go out of my way to purchase the 2nd book and the 3rd book and the 4th book and however many books there are. So I don't need just the first copy of the 1st book on my shelf. So I'm going to pass these along, and then if I feel like reading from either of these series, I will look them up on Kindle Unlimited. Then we have an ARC that my friend gave me that she never ended up reading, but I'm also not going to read. So I think I'm going to put this in a Little Free Library, and hopefully somebody will want to read this one. This is Rock by Anita Sunday. I DNF'd this like pretty early on into the book. I'm not going to give this one another try, so Little Free Library it goes. These 2 books right here, I pulled them out of the Little Free Library because I just wanted to swap books, and I was having a bad day at those libraries. I was finding nothing. So this is A Weekend with Mr. Darcy and Dreaming of Mr. Darcy by Victoria Connolly. I just know I'll never read them, even if people love them. I just know myself I won't pick them up, so I'm gonna put them right back where I found them. If I Was Your Girl and Red Rising are my last 2 books. I got both of these out of Little Free Libraries and DNF'd this one early on, gave this one like 2 stars because it was kind of trash. So putting them, again, right back where I found them. So those are all of the books that I'm going to be getting rid of. Hopefully I will be able to let you know how much I got in credit at the bookstore, if they are even interested in any of those books. So I hope that this was a fun one. Let me know if I broke your heart with getting rid of any of these books. And I think that's all that I have though, so I will see you in my next video, which should be out very, very shortly. All right, goodbye.